The sun dipped low over Santa Monica Boulevard, casting golden streaks across the bustling street. Keanu Reeves leaned against his motorcycle, parked near a taco stand, his dark sunglasses reflecting the chaos of the evening crowd. He wasn't here for tacos, though he'd stopped to watch something that didn't sit right. A young man in a bright orange vest, clipboard in hand, darted between pedestrians like a caffeinated hummingbird. "Save the kids. Just $5 can feed a starving child," he shouted, his voice a mix of urgency and rehearsed charm. Most people waved him off, but a few, older folks, mostly, paused, fumbling for wallets. Keanu's brow furrowed. The guy's energy was too polished, too predatory. Something was off. Keanu adjusted his jacket and strolled closer, blending into the foot traffic. He wasn't one for confrontation, not unless it mattered. Years of playing heroes on screen had taught him the value of observation over impulse. He lingered near a bench, pretending to check his phone, and listened. "Cash is best. Keeps it simple," the fundraiser told an elderly woman, her hands trembling as she handed over a crumpled 20. "No receipts a day. Systems down. But you're a saint." She smiled weakly, hobbling away. The guy pocketed the bill with a smirk, not bothering to mark anything on his clipboard. Keanu's gut twisted. He'd seen enough. Charity scams were an old game, but this one was bold, working rush hour on a busy strip. He could have walked away, called the cops, let someone else handle it. But that wasn't his style. If people were getting hurt, he'd step in, quietly, on his terms. He approached the guy, hands in his pockets, posture loose. "Hey, man," Keanu said, voice low and warm, like they were old buddies. "What's a charity?" The fundraiser, his vest red Jake, blinked, sizing him up. Keanu's scruffy beard and worn jeans didn't scream threat. Jake grinned. "Hope for kids, bro. We're feeding orphans overseas. Wanna chip in?" "Yeah, maybe," Keanu said, scratching his chin. "Where overseas?" Jake faltered, just for a second. You know, the usual spots. Africa, mostly." "Cool. Which part?" Keanu tilted his head, keeping his tone curious, not accusing. Jake's grin tightened. "All over. Man. Too many to list. You donating or what?" Keanu nodded slowly, fishing a 10 from his wallet. "Sure. Just want to know where it's going." He held the bill out but didn't let go when Jake reached for it. "Got a website or something?" Jake tugged at the 10, but Keanu's grip was steady. "Website's down, dude. Server issues. Cash is king. Helps the kids faster." "Right," Keanu said, releasing the bill. Jake stuffed it into his pocket, already scanning for the next mark. Keanu stepped back, melting into the crowd, but his mind was racing. No receipts, no specifics, cash only, classic red flags. He needed proof. He pulled out his phone and typed "Hope for Kids Charity" into a search bar. Nothing legit popped up, just a few vague forum posts and a defunct Facebook page. Then he spotted it, a tiny X post from a week ago. Guy in orange vest on SM Boulevard asked for Hope for Kids donations. No record of it anywhere. Scam. Keanu's jaw tightened. Time to dig deeper. He circled back, keeping Jake in his peripheral. The guy was good, chatty, pushy, but not sloppy enough to get caught outright. Keanu needed leverage. He noticed a second fundraiser across the street, a woman in the same orange vest, working a different angle, sob stories about sick kids. They were a team. He tailed Jake for another block, watching him dodge a skateboarder while pocketing more cash. The operation was smooth, too smooth. Keanu slipped into a nearby coffee shop, grabbing a seat by the window. He watched Jake for an hour, nursing a black coffee. The pattern emerged. Jake collected cash, then ducked into an alley every half hour, returning lighter. A handoff. Keanu drained his cup and followed. The alley was narrow, lined with overflowing dumpsters. Jake met a third guy, older, wiry, in a cheap suit, passing him a wad of bills. Keanu crouched behind a stack of crates, snapping a quick photo with his phone. The suit guy counted the cash, muttering, "Better than yesterday. Keep pushing." Jake nodded and hustled back to the street. Keanu stayed low, tailing the suit guy instead. He led him to a beat-up van parked 2 blocks away. The man climbed in, and Keanu memorized a license plate before slipping away. Back on his bike, he called a friend, Mike, an ex-cop turned PI who owed him a favor. "Mike, need a plate run." "Fast," Keanu said, rattling off the numbers. "On it," Mike grunted. 10 minutes later, he texted back, registered to a Daniel Voss. Small-time grifter, couple of fraud charges, nothing stuck. "You in trouble?" "Nah," Keanu replied, "just curious." He had a name now, Daniel Voss, the ringleader, but busting them wasn't enough. The money they'd scammed, hundreds, maybe thousands by now, was gone from those donors' hands. Keanu wanted it back where it belonged. The next day, he dug deeper. He rode to a library, using a public computer to cross-check Voss's name. Old arrest records hinted at a pattern. Fake charities, pop-up scams, always targeting busy areas. Keanu printed a mugshot, tucking it into his jacket. He needed to rattle them, but first, he'd test the crew's nerve. He returned to the boulevard at dusk, spotting Jake harassing a new mark, a middle-aged woman with a grocery bag. "Come on, lady, kids are starving." Jake pressed. She hesitated, then handed over 10. Keanu stepped up, voice calm but firm. "Hey, you sure about this?" She froze, clutching her bag. "It's for kids." "Maybe," Keanu said, eyeing Jake. "Ask him where the money's going. Specifics." Jake bristled. "Back off. Dude, she's helping a cause." "Then name a village," Keanu said, loud enough for bystanders to turn. "A program. Anything." Jake stammered. "I told you, Africa." The woman yanked her 10 back. "Forget it. You're shady." She stormed off, and Jake glared at Keanu, who just shrugged and walked away. The seed was planted. Keanu spent the next day planning. No grand heroics, no fists, just strategy. He hit up a local print shop, had them whip up a fake flyer. "Hope for Kids fundraiser event. Meet the team. Tomorrow, 6 p.m., Santa Monica Pier." He added a generic logo and a line about transparency for our donors. Then he posted it on X, tagging local news accounts, and handed copies to a few street vendors near Jake's spot. Word spread fast. By noon the next day, Jake and his crew were sweating. Keanu watched from a distance as a small crowd, donors, skeptics, even a news van, gathered near their usual haunt, asking questions. Jake tried to play it off, but his charm crumbled when an old man demanded, "Where's my $20 going?" Keanu stepped in then, casual as ever. "Hey, Jake, big event tonight, right? Pier's gonna be packed. Donors want to meet the team." Jake's eyes widened. "What event?" "I don't." "Flyers are everywhere, man," Keanu said, loud enough for the crowd to hear. "Hope for Kids, right? Unless that's not what you're with." The crowd pressed closer, murmuring. Jake stammered. "Look, I just collect the cash, okay? Boss handles the rest." "Who's the boss?" a reporter piped up, MIC ready. Jake bolted. The woman across the street took off too, but the damage was done. The news van caught it all. Clips of flustered scammers, angry donors, and Keanu flyers. By nightfall, Hope for Kids was trending locally, branded a fraud. Keanu didn't stop there. He tracked down Daniel Voss's van the next morning, parked outside a dingy motel. Mike had dug up more. Voss had a history of skipping town, but his crew was fraying. Jake had been spotted arguing with a woman at a gas station. Keanu didn't knock. He left a note on the windshield. "Cops have your plate. Donors have your name. Run if you want, but the money stays." Voss didn't run. Maybe he knew the jig was up. 2 days later, a duffel bag of cash, nearly $8,000, showed up at a legit local shelter, anonymously. The note inside read, "For the kids who need it." The shelter's director cried on the news, calling it a miracle. She mentioned plans to fund a summer camp for foster kids, something concrete and real. Keanu watched a report from his porch, sipping tea. He didn't need credit, never had. The scammers were spooked, the money redirected, and the street was a little cleaner. He smiled faintly, fired up his bike, and rode off into the dusk. Another quiet win, no cape required.